Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I want to discuss Bitcoin's next move. Not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, the whole crypto market. I think there is tremendous upside that is coming. So today I'm going to show you some more interesting metrics that compares our current run to some of the previous runs and also what some holders are doing while we are down. Very interesting stuff, and this will help you get ready for what's coming. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Weekends, I'm a little off, and Friday nights, no longer. But I am working on something, so maybe I will bring that back. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest articles on CryptosRUs.com. All right, guys, welcome. Today is not bad day. A lot of individual projects doing very well, and Bitcoin overall is doing pretty well. You know, look at it, 34.3 last night or this morning. I can't tell. Maybe it was last night, or maybe no, it was this morning. Bitcoin shot up to about 34.8. and came down a little bit. Now it's coming back up 34.3. So this Sunday, you know, previous weekends we had, you know, some volatility where Saturday would do well and the Sunday doesn't do well, or vice versa, or Saturday doesn't do well, Sunday does well. This week, so far so good. Starting from Friday, Saturday, and today Sunday, we're seeing pretty good movement and holding right now. And Ethereum is still at 2144. Overall market 1.4 trillion. Not too bad. And if you scroll down, you can see the 24 and 7 day. You can see a lot, especially last week. A lot of green, right? A lot of green for the last week. Today, AMP, someone mentioned, is doing very well. Among others, there are a few individual winners that's doing pretty well. So overall, things are looking pretty darn good so far, but I do have more to share with you guys. So, first off, this is pretty big news. Not directly Bitcoin buying, but indirect Bitcoin buying. So, a $30 billion state-managed pension fund is now investing into Bitcoin mining companies, specifically Mara and Riot. All right. So we have heard rumblings about, you know, pension funds, family offices, hedge funds, VCs. They're all getting in. Some have been, you know, pretty public about it. That's why this list keeps growing. But, you know, we've been hearing about, hey, pension funds, they want to get in too, because for the most part, pension funds are the most conservative funds out there, right? Obviously, because it's people's retirement money. But even they are getting involved with Bitcoin. So I say indirectly because they're not buying Bitcoin, obviously, directly. They're not buying OTC market or anything like that. But the fact that they're buying into two of the biggest publicly traded mining companies out there shows that they still do want exposure to Bitcoin, right? This is pretty big news. So if you look at Riot and Mara or Marathon Digital Holdings themselves, do they hold any Bitcoins? Yes, Marathon Digital holds close to $200 million worth of Bitcoin, about 5,800. I mean, you know what's funny about this is this seems like such a low number when you compare it to, say, MicroStrategy, but that just shows you how ridiculous MicroStrategy is in terms of how much Bitcoins they actually hold. But, you know, 5,800, that's not bad. $200 million worth of Bitcoin. And obviously they're still mining. And then you have HODL, which is another one. And then you have Riot, right? 2,243. Again, $78 million worth of Bitcoin. These numbers will grow over time. We have heard of these Bitcoin miners actually buying more Bitcoin to put into their reserve, right? So, pretty positive. So this is definitely the big news of the day. So now, yes, we have pension funds that's invested in Bitcoin or Bitcoin companies. And yes, we still have this whole list of public trade companies and private companies and even ETF and trusts that all have large amounts of Bitcoin, have large exposure to Bitcoin, and you know what? Little by little, the overall circulating supply is being chipped away. Last time I remember, this number was in the 6%, so it jumped to 7%. So someone else bought, I don't even know who, but something got added in here. So this has creeped up to 7%. But I'd like to remind you guys, this is 7% out of 21 million. First of all, 21 million doesn't exist because we still have about 2 million left to be mined. So if you take out the 2 million, this is probably higher. And out of the existing out there, 4 to 5 to 6 million, somewhere around that ballpark, is lost. Those Bitcoins are lost forever due to the private keys being lost. So if you look at that way, this is actually a tremendous amount of Bitcoins being bought within a short amount of time. And yes, this is having effect on Bitcoin's price. The more scarce Bitcoin becomes, of course, the price goes higher, and this is what we're seeing. All right, so I wanted to start with that, and then also I want to show you this, that Gallup poll now says 6% of Americans own Bitcoin. I honestly don't believe this because I think this is a lot lower. I don't believe 6 people out of 100 that you talk to actually holds Bitcoin. It's actually very, very little. Very, very little. Right? So I don't know. This poll number, I think it's off. But the reason why I want to show you guys this is to basically make you aware how early it still is. That even if this was true, even if it was just 6% Americans, well, what about other countries? That percent goes down drastically, right? What about the whole world? The number of people holding Bitcoins out of 8 billion is such a small amount. But that's why you want to get in early. Because when it's not a small amount, when it's 50% of the world that's using Bitcoin or holding Bitcoin, that's when Bitcoin is going to be at like $10 million each, right? Above $1 million. So that's why you want to get in while the percentage is low. You don't want to get in when everyone is trying to FOMO in, even though it may seem like during bull runs, everyone is FOMOing in. That everyone is still a very, very small portion of the entire population of the earth or of the country that you're living in. So just think about that. Just think about that next time you think, oh, everyone has Bitcoin. No, they really don't. All right, now let me show you some new metrics. I don't know if it's new, but it's interesting nevertheless. So here's one, the realized HODL ratio. So this measures basically tops and bottoms according to some kind of ratio, and I've seen this broken up, and it's not easy to showcase. But with this unique equation, you could see clearly it's a pretty good top indicator and a bottom indicator. Goes back all the way to 2011, the first time Bitcoin peaked out, right? And you could see, yes, it's in this red zone. And then it started coming down. And then the green zone is the bottom zone. Then you could see 2013, young Yoda, I appreciate that. You can see 2013, the cycle went up and it seemed like it topped out because it came down pretty drastically before going back up again and hitting that peak, right? And then coming down all the way down to the green area. Then 2017, you could see when we peaked out at $20,000 or 19.8 or something like that, right? Then it came down 2018, 2019, and now look at where we are, right? Obviously, the top is not in the red zone, right? We have come down slightly. So it does look very similar to 2013, where there was kind of like a mid-top, right, before coming down, taking a breather because things overshot, and then the second half, or the last few months of that year, that's when things resumed and hit a top. And I do believe that is what we're going to see. I do believe everything I've been showing you guys, not so much because this says so, but everything that's been happening in 2021, including what I just showed you guys, pension funds, $30 billion pension funds getting in. These things didn't happen before. Okay, you had no pension funds, no public trade companies, no hedge funds that bought hundreds of millions to billions of Bitcoins, $1 billion worth of Bitcoins back in 2011, 13, or even 17. That was a dream back then, and now it's happening. Okay, so yeah, the fundamentals of Bitcoin is stronger than ever, despite what anyone tells you. And it's only going to get stronger. Everyone wants a piece. I just got done talking about scarcity, right? So this does show you that we're very similar to 2013, right? Where we're taking a breather and the top came afterwards, the true top. And I do believe that we are mimicking what it looks like, what it looked like in 2013. Now, something else is this from CryptoBurb, who's a very big TA guy, but I do like what he has to say. And what I like the most about CryptoBurb is that he does believe that our downsides, especially the panic selling situations, is media-driven FUD. It's driven by media-driven FUD, right? So that's the CNBCs of the world, or even Bloombergs of the world, or whoever of the world that keeps publishing negative articles. And you could see he even wrote it on his chart back in March of 2020 when we had that Black Swan event, right? Things went down drastically because of pandemic, because of COVID, because of a lot of fear out in the market, right? News-driven downside deviation. And now he also thinks it's the same thing. Some people like to pick on me and say, hey, everything George says is FUD, right? Everything is driven by FUD. Well, what drives people to buy and sell, right? And if people are panic selling, why do you think that happened? It's because of FUD. It's not because it may be untrue. I think people get the definition wrong. FUD just means there's fear and uncertainty and doubt. And most people have the most FUD in their own head because they hear it and they keep thinking about it and thinking about it until they can no longer do anything about it but to sell, right? So I do think what we saw was largely driven by media-driven FUD. And now we seem to have stabilized, right? Our local bottom of 28, but we seem to have stabilized within this range, 41 and 30. And now we seem like we're ready to move higher. And according to Burb, right here, the 50-week average, right, is our support. But, back in 2020, we did break through that. But you know what? Some of these indicators that a lot of TA guys like to use, they're like, well, it can't possibly break through this, or it means it's done. Well, not really. We have broken through it many times, and Bitcoin resumed back right on track, right? But just want to share that. I think this is pretty interesting here. And also, this is very, very interesting for those of you guys that are holding Ethereum. This is a measurement of Ethereum's holdings by exchanges and by non-exchanges, meaning retail investors and whales. This really shows you how much accumulation is happening right in front of your eyes, and you may not even realize it. Most likely you don't realize it. So what you see in red is what's held on exchanges, the reserves on exchanges for Ethereum. So I'm moving my camera here so you guys could see a little better here. And you could see that the Ethereum reserves have been dropping dramatically. Okay, ever since it topped out about September of 2020. Ever since then, reserves have been dropping down. And the yellow line is the reserves by non-exchanges, basically retail and whales. And you can see ever since September, it has been climbing. But here's the thing. Look at when price of Ethereum went down from 4,000 down to where it is now, 2,200. The yellow line continues to go up. It did not drop. It continues to go up while the red line continues to go down. So despite the fact that Ethereum's price have fallen in half, there are a lot of people and whales that are buying and buying and buying Ethereum at this point. Okay? So again, there is a lot of buying. There is a lot of accumulation. People always say, oh, why doesn't price move, right? A lot of these guys are very smart about it. They buy OTC market or they spread out their buys So it does not affect price because the smart investors, they don't want to drive prices up while they're buying. They want to keep prices low so that they can accumulate more, right? But this kind of shows you, yeah, this is why Ethereum is so darn strong. It's because there's so many people that are just buying and buying and buying it, right? I've shown you guys this over the past few weeks, or maybe the past week. I don't remember. But if you look at Bitcoin versus Ethereum, right? You look at the performance, pretty much across the board, Ethereum is holding better and growing faster than Bitcoin. It's because of this, because of the whales that and retail that just keeps buying it, right? Does that mean that Ethereum is going to somehow surpass or flip Bitcoin in the future? Maybe. I don't think anytime soon, but maybe in the future if it keeps going, yes. But again, shows you that you should never, I guess I'll take that back. I'll take that back. I was going to say you should never panic sell. And with crypto, there is volatility and you should just continue to basically invest for the future, DCA and HODL. Kind of like the example I made yesterday with the guy I met at Best Buy, right? And I think that's still true. I mean, maybe sometimes you panic sell because you invested more than what you can afford to lose, or if you involve yourself with leverage and you need to get out. Yeah, I think in those situations that warrants it. But everything else, I think if you're investing in the right projects, the key is ignore media-driven FUD or ignore FUD, right? Do your own research and homework and pay attention to what's going on behind the scenes. And this shows you what's really going on behind the scenes. All right, lastly, has nothing to do with crypto, but I just saw this morning, USA Basketball loses to France. First loss in a real game, not an exhibition game, since 2004. This is embarrassing. This quite frankly, this is real embarrassing. The talent level I know of overseas teams have come up, and there's a lot of teams like Gobert is playing the NBA, but still, this should not happen. Ouch. All right, let's do some Q&A. Jimmy says, I prefer to spend my Friday nights with you, but I guess I'll settle with my family. Yes, I'm going to force you guys to spend some time with your family on Friday nights. BT Moo, well, thank you. I don't know what that means exactly, but chances I sold my house to buy more. That may be a little too drastic. Okay. What else? Scrolling down. One Lambo, I'm tired of taking a bus. Well, start biking and start walking. Save that bus fare and then put it towards your Lambo fund, Leon. AMP has been pumping. Any latest news? I haven't heard anything. I know today they're doing well, but I haven't seen anything. I'll look into it, but I haven't seen anything that explains. Well, Brandon says it's pumping because BitBoy said Amazon's going to use it. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. But someone tried to make that connection yesterday, how Whole Foods was partnered up with Flexa, and because Whole Foods is partnered by or owned by Amazon, how Amazon could take Flexa. Who knows? It could happen. It could not. Anyways, if you do FOMO into AMP, I think AMP is still a great project. It's a great collateral token, and it's great for Flexa. So, BPro's one top performer on KuCoin's flying. Thoughts on BPro? Yeah, I like BPro quite a bit. I talked about them a lot in the past. So, yes. All right, now I'm catching up. Now I'm starting to scroll down here. Do I HODL baseball cards? Only basketball. Only basketball. Raul wanted to know if you could do an update video on Chainlink. There's no need. It's still the same data. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed within the last 3 months or 4 months with Chainlink. It's a dominant oracle. It will continue to be the dominant oracle, and every project is basically still utilizing them. That's really all you need to know. And the price prediction still stands true, because Bitcoin, if it does go beyond 6 figures, above 100,000, which I believe it will, it could really go fast and far and FOMO. And when that happens, altcoins will go to the moon, like they've always have been, towards ends of cycles. All right, I'm missing a lot here. Do swap tokens belong in my portfolio, or should I put that liquidity in heavier? It depends on what your portfolio is like, Elliot. Even though those are all, besides Uniswap, they're all, mid to small caps, which could give you tremendous gains. But if you don't have enough big caps or Bitcoin, then you should think about getting more. 50, 25, 25 rule is what I always advise. 50% Bitcoin, 25% in big caps, and 25% in mid to small caps. Sam says, I use BlockFi and live in New Jersey. Any thoughts on what may be causing BlockFi crackdown by regulators in 3 states? What have you lived? Well, according to BlockFi, if you're a customer, you're still okay. Until they say you have to pull out, then I would say it's okay. They're not going to go anywhere. What's causing it? I don't know. But I think they're the only lending company that's based in the U.S. So that may be the reason why you don't hear others being targeted yet. But we'll see. I think it has a lot, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it has a lot to do with what Uniswap just did, which is, get rid of a lot of the unregistered securities, okay? The synthetic tokens. So I think it may have to do with that, because BlockFi just added Uniswap recently. They don't add a lot of tokens or coins, but they did add Uniswap, and may have something to do with that. But we'll see. I believe they will get through it. You should change your time to 12 Centrals, and that's closer. Well, if I did, then I may push it back even further. So I rather move it forward than later. With API of 100%, why doesn't everyone just take their money and cake on PancakeSwap? Because there's a risk there. There's hacks left and right on these AMMs. And we have seen it before with a lot of BSC projects, with other projects. They're still relatively new. Okay, so you still have to watch out. One day, if there's a vulnerability or whatever that may occur, that's going to affect you if you have everything in there. So just be careful. Be careful. B Pro is breaking out. I'm glad to see it. They've been sold off. Way too heavily, and I'm glad to see them come up. A lot of the ones that have been, sold off, they're starting to recover just slightly, but they still have a tremendous amount of room to grow. Yeah, as for synthetics, I was never that big of a fan of synthetic. There are synthetic tokens. There's a lot of players in this space. And now that Uniswap basically removed them all, that's not looking good. So I'm still going to be neutral on synthetic. Luke, I have not. And doesn't sound like something that I want to look at. What's the best platform to stake ETH? I don't know. You can stake it everywhere. You can stake it on all the exchanges. If you go stake it, maybe put it into Anchor and do some liquid staking. So, I mean, I haven't tried it, but, liquid staking seems like it's not a bad idea. Do you have an opinion on Pokemon cards that have large amount of base stuff? Wondering if I should sell into recent boom and turn to crypto. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, but you have to get them graded. With cards, even Pokemon cards, it's all about the grading. And grading is not easy to do right now. It's very expensive and a very slow turnaround time. So if you want to sell it, get into eBay and start searching them up and see if they're worth anything. And if they are, you may want to think about grading them. Why don't you do a regular sports segment? I was thinking about that. I have another channel that I started with a friend, but never really did anything with it. When does OTC market actually affect price? It doesn't until the reserves drop, to basically a low amount. When the OTC market dries up, either there's no more sellers or there's just so much demand. That's when it'll truly affect prices. The BTC tops 100K. What is expected to drop? Who knows? Who knows? It could be 20, 30, 50. Who knows? I was the 50K mutual fund question yesterday. My fund only makes $1,500 a year. Stablecoin yield more interest based on this, right? I mean, if you look at 7.5% or 8.5% of 50K, you do the math. I don't know. I think it does make more than $1,500 per year. All right. I think that's it. Old man says, I started crypto in January thanks to channels of yours. I learned a lot about profit taking and portfolio building. I'm still in the green. Thanks for that. Any thoughts on paid? No. I don't remember what this was. Ignition, powered by paid, launching only top tier projects. So a launch pad. Oh, so it's by Kyle. I know he's on Banter a lot. I don't know anything really about him. So some kind of DeFi launchpad project. Okay. Don't know enough to tell you anything else. TDP, thanks for taking time off. Can't have you burned out on us. Yeah, I am burned out to be quite frank, but I'm still pushing through. We'll see. We'll see how my schedule is later on this year. But for now, I'll keep it the way it is. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Is DeFi summer still here to come? Yes. Aave and Compound have done tremendously well. I think they will continue to do well. DeFi is only getting hotter. And Bitcoin is still starting to climb up. Pretty good. All right, tune in tonight, guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.